What's going on, Chill Army? DeAndreX7 here, and it's that time of the week again. The latest episode of Pokemon Horizons has recently aired, so let's go ahead and discuss it. Before we discuss this episode discussion, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's comment on how lovely Molly and Orla looked in their casual attire. I require more of it immediately. I'm thrilled that the Rising Volt Tacklers are in Paldea at last. The remainder of the episode was equally wonderful. My degree of hype is through the roof. That said, Liko's conflicted sentiments about going home formed the core of today's episode. She had a taste for adventure, but she fell into a bit of a funk when she realized her time with the Rising Volt Tacklers was coming to an end. She thinks her dad will say no to her desire to keep traveling and solve the puzzle of her pendant. She can't even get herself to go to sleep because she can't bring herself to tell him what she wants to do. Fortunately, the crew's encouragement allows her to express her feelings, and her dad lets her go. Alex, Liko's father, on the other hand, is a straightforward, worried dad who was concerned about how Liko would handle studying abroad, but was amazed by how much she had developed in such a short period of time, and inspired by the relationship she had developed with Sprigatito. This was backed by the subplot about Sprigatito's jealousy, because it could have easily been put back into its ball by Liko, but she chose not to do so. Sprigatito waited for Liko to return and jumped to help her when she did. I kind of wanted her to capture Lechonk, but man, that Lechonk was in full-on goblin mode for that coffee. Speaking of catching things, let me just sidetrack here and say that, unlike when Pokemon originally debuted, the gotta catch 'em all slogan no longer holds the same attraction. Thus, I'm neither surprised nor overly disappointed that Liko and Roy have yet to catch anything. It makes logical sense that the first arc focused mostly on establishing the protagonist relationship with their partner Pokemon, because, in my opinion, the fundamental motivation for contemporary Pokemon is exploring the relationships between the trainers and their Pokemon. Moving back to the main topic of the episode, let's move on to Liko's mother, who did not appear in this episode. Liko doesn't seem to be disappointed or angry about the fact that her mother couldn't come back to greet her in time in person because she was working abroad. I'm very intrigued about how they must interact in person, because she hired the Rising Volt Tacklers out of concern for her daughter, but she also seems to be gone quite a lot. Since it is her grandmother's words that Liko uses to express her desire to travel, my theory is that she may have had a bigger influence, Liko's grandmother, she may have had a bigger influence on Liko during that time that, her mother was absent from her early childhood. It makes me curious to see if Liko's mother has some sort of impact on this whole pendant fiasco plot with the explorers, because they're really pushing the ball here in making Liko's mother very mysterious feeling. Freed, meanwhile, I noticed was very neutral with this whole should Liko continue to travel with the Rising Volt Tacklers or not, which I really like. He didn't specifically advocate for Liko's case, but it was evident that he wanted her to keep traveling while still respecting her parents' desires. The fact that he chose not to step in offered Liko more agency, and in the end, it was fortunate that she was able to settle the conflict largely on her own. However, I do think it's kind of funny to think about what Liko's mother would say if, she comes home to find that, Freed did bring Liko home, as she hired him to do, just to put Liko back in danger during this whole Rayquaza plot. One thing I noticed about how Alex, mentioned that Brassius had seen a rare Pokemon and advised Freed and Liko to go see him in Artisan, I noticed that he didn't refer to him as the Artisan gym leader. He referred to him pretty much as just another artist, which is kind of a curious thing to see because typically when a gym leader is shown in the anime, they're just the gym leader, Well, not just the gym leader, but they're usually referred to mainly as the gym leader. Like, that's who they are. But it seems like the gym leader aspect is going to be a secondary side to them, as I feel like for the Paldean gym leaders, they're going to be more, in line with their secondary careers from the games. Like, how Katie is a cook or Iono is a streamer. I feel like that's going to be their whole main thing. Meanwhile, the gym leader side of them is going to be more of a side thing that they do. That's what I understood from the way they worded it. Overall, a quiet episode with just enough emotional weight to keep it from being too flat, though it may have benefited from greater excitement surrounding Liko's homecoming. But that is going to conclude today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe, share this video with a friend, all that YouTube stuff. If you guys want to follow me on my social medias, links to those will be in the description down below. I love you all, and I will see you guys on the next video. Only good, Chill Army.